Hey, it's John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, entrepreneur, founder of Bryant Group Ventures, the Promise Homes Company, John Hope Bryant Holdings. I'm just have nonstop energy. Um, and on Squawk Box, we talk about these issues, the economy, but it CNBC Squawk Box, but it's so concentrated and so short. We get it in spirit in splits and starts. I wanted to unpack the economy, given that people are really concerned about it right now. And I want to do this in less than 10 minutes. So tell everybody to watch this. You can go to different parts of the video and timestamp it, share it with friends. Ask me questions on comments. I'll respond in close as real time as I can as I go to and I read all the comments. Let me know what you think about this. Did you like it? Did you not like it? What else do you want to know? Okay, let me dive into this. People are concerned about the economy. What's going on? Are we in a recession? Is this 2009 all over again? Is the world falling apart? Should I just put everything in cash? Whatever. Okay, let me help you out here. Should I go to Bitcoin? Should I go to digital currency? Should I not buy a home? Okay, first of all, I told everybody to refinance everything you could. I've been saying that every day for the last 2 years. Refinance your child, your dog, your car note, your mortgage, your rental property, your student loan, whatever you can refinance, because rates were never going to be that low ever again. I mean, 1-2% financing. Some people did it, most people didn't. Now rates are going up. So that you missed that train. Please don't miss this one. Please hear me when I say this. This is not 2009, right? 2009 was a crappy economy. It was not a real economy. You had a mortgage crisis, and President Bill Clinton had this great quote: "It's hard to get somebody to agree to the truth when the lie is paying their paycheck." And you have a lot of people lying on Wall Street, Main Street, and your street, trying to do pick-a-pay mortgages and adjustable, reverse amortization mortgages and all kind of crazy things to try to get a postal worker to buy $1 million home. I mean, it's nuts, right? And of course, that economy exploded because it wasn't real. This is a real economy. It's real solid. It makes a lot of sense. The problem is you had COVID come down in the middle of it and created what's called manufactured problems. Listen to me. The inflation is manufactured, so don't freak out about it. What do I mean by that? Why are oil prices through the roof? Because Russia, which provides a lot of oil, went to war with Ukraine. The world, rightly so, said no mas to Putin and Russia and stopped buying their oil. The knock-on effect of that is when they stopped buying their oil, price of oil, supply and demand went up elsewhere. Less supply, more demand, price goes up. So temporarily, you're going to pay more at the pump. But also that price is beginning to come down as economy, as this whole thing sort of mellows out. But so the oil prices are tied to Russia and mostly tied to Ukraine and the war there. And we should be for the people of Ukraine. Yes. Inflation of everything. That's tied to COVID. You had a supply chain that was easy to turn on and easy to turn off and hard to turn back on again. So the making of everything, China, wherever it is, they're still dealing with the rest of the world with serious COVID issues. Sometimes the factories are working, sometimes they're not. Sometimes the workers are there, sometimes the workers are sick. And they're trying to catch up with backstop demand from 2 years ago. So everything is hard to get. It's more expensive. It takes longer. Those are supply chain issues. We now realize we're all in a global economy. That's going to hike up prices and make things rarer to get. Now, you had a bunch of rich people sitting at home during COVID that were bored. And so they start ordering stuff that are hard to get and are not being made anymore. So now you're supply and demand. The less supply, the higher the demand, the bigger the price hike. So now people trying to buy Rolexes aren't being made anymore. Trying to buy cars aren't being made anymore. Trying to buy whatever is not being made anymore. The prices go up because rich people were bored and wanted to buy stuff. Why did rich people have the money to buy it? Because the stock prices actually went up during COVID for unnatural reasons. Why? Because during COVID, the federal government, rightly so, wanted to send the message to the economy that everything's going to be okay. So the Federal Reserve opened what's called the Fed window and kept it open, which means that Wall Street and big banks and big firms were assured access to capital and credit from the federal government. That then it's called a floor on asset values. I hope I'm not talking over people's heads. I'm trying to make this very simple. But basically, pretty much assured that a price of a stock was not going to go down. It's probably going to stabilize or go up. So now prices went up because you had this implied commitment from the federal government. The government was not going to let anything fail during COVID. On top of that, you had the federal government, the first time in history, put stimulus in the economy, and it even made its way all the way down to you in the form of a check in your mailbox. For the first time in the history of the world, with a T in front of it, trillion. Are you guys following this? All right, I don't know how many minutes am I at, but I think I'm doing pretty good of explaining the big economy, and well, it's 5.5 minutes so far. So the federal government, there's never been $1 trillion bailout in the history of the world, the history of the U.S. or the history of the world. It wasn't 1 trillion, it wasn't 2 trillion, it wasn't 3 trillion. It's probably more than $5 trillion when you add it all up, not including what the Fed window did on Wall Street. Let's just say 5 trillion for the sake of conversation for the moment. It's more than that, but let's start there. Never anything close to that number, right? The bailout in 2009 of the banks, 2010, I believe it was 700 billion. So the numbers don't even compare, all right? The bailout of the automotive companies, the airlines, all those bailouts were 30 billion, 50 billion. We're talking about trillion now. But did the government do the right thing? Yes, they did. Because there is no COVID, pandemic manual you pull out every 125 years and read it and go, this is what you do. So there was a fire brewing called the failure of the largest economy on the planet, us, and the federal government had to pour as much water on that fire to make sure it was out. And how much water? Enough. Where's the manual? Didn't exist. So what they do? Pour and pour and pour. And we're here fighting inflation because it was actually done too well. In other words, they poured on it so much it created an economy that was actually too hot, because now you have interest rates the lowest that has been seen in 3 generations. You have a rarity of everything because nothing's being produced. Make sure you tell me you're following me here. You have the federal government pouring money from the top, from billionaires all the way down to millionaires to thousandaires, somebody trying to buy some air, to you and me. It reached everybody. Just here, okay? That created, and people sitting at home bored, buying too much stuff that they don't need. So you have too many people buying too little stuff at too high a price, and that created false inflation of assets, commodities, and frankly, the economy, and the presumption that people were rich when they really weren't. So in order to heal the economy, after we felt that we were through pandemic, the federal government had to cool the economy. The best way to do that is to raise interest rates, which, by the way, home sales were going through the roof. Atlanta approved values grew 41% in 2 years. That's crazy. That's nuts. Do I believe that actually the asset values are worth it? I actually do. I happen to be in the home business. I felt that Atlanta was undervalued for a long time. It just corrected itself overnight versus over a decade. And there are places around the country that also resemble that. There are also places that are overheated, where the prices got too frothy. And that's going to get, I think, adjusted back down. But I don't think there's going to be a real estate recession, nor do I believe there's going to be a depression or even a strong recession. I think it may be a mild recession, mostly a pullback and a moderation. I don't even if I call it a recession, because companies are still making money. Your net worth is still meaning general population. Maybe you personally like, John, go spit. My net worth is not doing well, but generally speaking, the economy is doing well, and most people are doing reasonably well. All right, and so the real estate was overheated. When they raised the interest rates, a lot of sales for overpriced properties got canceled, which is probably smart. And people had to think again about whether I should buy that house or that commercial property or whatever. Probably smart. And so now you're thinking about, can I afford this? Which is the right question. And the Fed's going to keep doing this until they can bring inflation down and get the economy in line. The stock market was way overheated, I think, and it took a hit. It took a hit on everything that was flaky. Now, people have been saying, this is a whole nother video, but cryptocurrency is a hedge against inflation. Obviously not. In fact, you look like under a bunch of cryptocurrency companies and platforms, and what are they running to? Cash, U.S. currency that they said wasn't valuable. Anyway, it's a whole nother video for another time. I don't want to overly complicate this. And no, I'm not dumping on cryptocurrency or NFTs. I'm just saying that's speculation, okay? Just to be clear, that's not That's not a currency. It may be an asset, some of it, but most cryptocurrencies you can't even, or they're illiquid. In other words, you have 20,000 cryptocurrencies that were created, 10,000 went out of business, meaning you go to the website, it's gone, you can't get your money out of it. And other 10,000 that still exist, maybe there's a dozen or so that have liquidity, means you can buy it and sell it in cash and get your money back. And we're finding that even some of the best of those recently, those companies underneath them are going out of business. I think that there's a lot of value in digital everything, including cryptocurrency. Is probably in the technology underneath it, probably in blockchain technology and other things that will come out of it. I'm not dumping on crypto, so don't make this about that. I'm just saying that in this environment, that is really risky. Don't bet your rent money. If you have 10% of your income or your wealth that you normally would go to Las Vegas with or speculate on some new startups, then knock yourself out on cryptocurrency, but don't do more than what you would use to speculate. So this is a time to sort of do things that are real. I have pulled back from the stock market to let it calm down. As soon as it's calmed down and I think it's hit bottom and is ready to go back up, guess what I'm doing? I'm going back in because I think that there's a really good companies that are undervalued. So there's three things that have never gone backwards in the U.S. economy. Real estate values, they go up, they dip. In a recession, they correct above the line. Stock market values, it goes up, it dips. In a market moment like this, it corrects above the line. The GDP goes up, has recessions, depressions, whatever, and it grows. These things have never gone backwards in U.S. history. They continue to grow. I believe in America. I believe in this economy. I believe this is a real economy. I think you need to chill. Just settle down, like take a breath and figure out how to create value and do things that are real, and maybe don't go buying stuff you don't need. But if you can find a good deal on real estate on a home, you probably should still continue to buy the home if you can afford it, because that value, unless you're in an overheated market, is not going down. It's probably going to go up because there's an affordable housing crisis in America. There needs to be 4 or 5 million more homes built, and they don't exist. So supply and demand one more time. But really, what I really want you to hear now is that this is a manufactured problem. It was COVID and it was a war. To make this simple, it wasn't us being stupid. And it's a manufactured problem. We're manufacturing a solution. This thing will sort out, I think, in the next year to 15 months, and you'll go on with your life. And on the other end of this, it'd be nice if you took advantage of some of the opportunities that will happen in the middle of this. What did Warren Buffett say? When the world is greedy, be afraid. When the world is afraid, be greedy. If the world's afraid, think about how to be responsibly, intelligently, ethically, with integrity. Capitalist greedy, meaning if there's an opportunity, take advantage of it. It's an undervalued stock of a good company, take advantage of it. Buy it. I mean, if there's some real estate and you've always wanted to own it, and it's a good solid market, buy it, because the price is going to do nothing but go up, and interest rates are going up. So you still should lock any financing you want to do right now. But by the way, refinance everything. If you haven't refinanced yet, you still have expensive student loans or expensive auto loans or whatever. Still refinance, because the rates are still decent. And if your credit score is good, you can get a good deal. Go to Operation Hope and get free credit score help, free all kind of help. We do it with America's Financial Coach, operationhope.org, or download the Hope in Hand app. And this has been 13 minutes, which is 3 minutes longer than I wanted it to be. Love you. Let me know what you think.